In the early hours of February 23, 2022, a chilling discovery shattered the peace of Green Bay, Wisconsin. Tara Pakinich entered her basement to find her son, 24-year-old Shad Thyrion's severed head in a bucket. It was a scene that would haunt the community forever.
Shad Thyrion was known for his kind and compassionate nature. Born and raised in Green Bay, he was a beloved son and friend. But his life took a dark turn when he became involved with Taylor Schabusiness.
Taylor Schabusiness had a life full of instability and legal problems, starting with arrest as early as 2017. She was married to Warren Shabau, who was in prison at the time for drug charges. While being a wife and a mother to her son, she struggled with personal demons like drug addiction and bipolar disorder, which led her down a troubled path.
On the night of February 21, 2022, Taylor picked up her ex-boyfriend Shad from his mother's house around 9:30 p.m. They went to an apartment on Eastman Avenue with another friend to smoke some weed. Taylor later admitted that she and Shad had also smoked meth and injected trazodone after her friend left. Later that night, they eventually returned to Shad's mother's house on Stony Brook Lane.
In the basement of the Pakinich home, Taylor and Shad engaged in sexual activities that included erotic asphyxiation. Choking was something they had experimented with before, but this time Taylor decided to use metal chains to strangle Shad. She continued applying pressure for several minutes until he began coughing up blood, but she didn't stop until he passed away.
Taylor admitted to performing sexual acts on Shad's lifeless body for several hours that night. The next morning, she used knives found in the house to strip flesh off the bone, cut off his body parts, and placed them in various containers, including plastic bags, cardboard boxes, a storage tote, and a bucket.
2 days later, on February 23rd, Tara Pakinich made a horrifying discovery of her son's severed head in a bucket covered with a towel. She immediately contacted the police, leading to a search of the basement where additional body parts were found. Shad's torso was located in the storage tote, and other remains were scattered throughout the area.
Police arrested Taylor Schabusiness later that day at an apartment complex on Eastman Avenue. She was found still wearing the blood-soaked clothing from the incident and had visible injuries, including a cut on her left thumb and scratches on her arms. Taylor was charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and third-degree sexual assault.
During her interrogation, Taylor was calmly talking about the incident and openly admitting to the murder and dismemberment. She described the events in chilling detail, displaying a disturbing sense of satisfaction and even smiling at times. Detective David Graff noted her carelessness and a lack of emotion during the interview while she spoke about what she did with Shad's body after she killed him.
The trial began in July 2023, capturing national attention due to the horrific nature of the crime. The jury was presented with all the shocking evidence, including the autopsy photos and diagrams showing the extent of Shad's injuries. Medical examiner Vincent Tranchida testified that the cause of death was strangulation, pointing out the level of violence of her actions.
Taylor's defense entered a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity, mentioning her history of mental health issues and drug abuse.
The defense to satisfy you jurors to a reasonable certainty by the greater weight of the credible evidence that at the time the crimes were committed, which was February 22nd of 2022, that Taylor Schabusiness had a mental disease or had a mental defect, and that as a result she lacked the substantial capacity either to appreciate the wrongfulness of her conduct or to conform her conduct to the requirements of the law.
However, the jury deliberated for less than an hour before convicting her on all charges, concluding that she was sound of mind during the crime.
In September 2023, Judge Thomas Walsh sentenced Taylor Schabusiness to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He emphasized the heinous nature of the crime, stating,
"This crime offends human decency, it offends human dignity, and it offends the human community. It really does."
But she didn't stop even after her sentencing. In a shocking outburst that left the courtroom in chaos, She violently attacked her own attorney, Quinn Jolly.
Taylor initially filed an appeal following her conviction, but later withdrew it. Her attorney acknowledged the fairness of the investigation and trial, leading to the decision to drop the appeal.
This tragic case left a permanent mark on the Green Bay community. Shad Thyrion's family and friends continue to mourn the loss of a young man, remembered for his kindness and compassion.
This case serves as a dark reminder of the horrible impact of substance abuse and unchecked mental illness.